G'day again guys, and thank you for joining me. I got something very interesting in the mail the other day. This has come to me from Colour Pencil magazine, and it is one of their reasonably new Grizaye painting kits. These have been designed to help you hone your colour pencil skills by using a Grizaye base. Now, Grizaye in art, it's spelled a little bit differently to this, but it is generally a painting technique in which you put down layers of grey. Grisaille just means grey, so you put down your blacks and your whites, and either you keep it that way or you add layers on top, which sort of gives you that base of your tonal base of your lights and your darks. It's a very old technique, nothing new there. Now, they do have multiple kits available with different images. I chose the roses kit because, well, traditionally I haven't had much luck drawing flowers, as evidenced here. So I thought the roses might actually challenge me and help me learn something along the way. Now I'm going to open this one. I haven't actually opened this up yet to see what we've got going on here. We've got the... Okay, so that's the reference image that I'm going to be working from. And there's the, am I in frame? There is the Grizaye image. Now, it's on nice paper. What's that one again? That is the Stonehenge warm white. So it's got a really nice texture, so it should work nicely with the pencils. There should be a reference, yeah, here it is. So this comes with a list of suggested Prismacolor pencils. It gives me a good excuse to drag those guys out. And a colourless blender. I don't know if I've actually got one of those. Anyway, so I'm going to use the suggested colours first, just to see how it goes. Now, the Prismacolor pencils are really nice. They're really kind of thick and waxy, so they're going to go over the top of this fairly well. First question is that I have, is it going to sit on the top of that grey? Is that grey going to show through by the time I'm finished? And question number two is this actually going to help me learn anything, or is it just going to be a bit of a colour by numbers kind of setup? There's only one way to find out, so let's get to it. I dusted off my Prismacolors and started work on the background. Now, I did run down to the art shop to grab a colourless blender so that I could create this piece in the full spirit of the kit. But it really didn't take me too long to remember that I absolutely hate using it. Now, I'm not that old, but I do already have some arthritis in my fingers, and that monotonous grinding of pigment is it's not something that I enjoy. So I did end up pulling out the mineral spirits pretty quickly, and you will see me completing this piece using both manual and chemical blending. With only the 6 colours for the whole piece, I found myself having to do some colour mixing pretty quickly. Now, this was really challenging because these are not colours that I know very well, and definitely not ones that I would tend to pick for myself. And only having those greens, oranges and yellows to mix with was actually a little bit more difficult than I was expecting. Now, any illusions I had that this was going to be a colour by numbers type kit were shattered around about this point, as it became very clear that this kit was not going to hold my hand in any way. Now, there are a few very loose instructions that come with the kit that suggest that I should work on the dark areas first and build up to the lighter areas. And I really did try to do that at first. But it didn't take long before unconsciously I found myself going back to my old habits and just grabbing tones somewhat randomly. I tried to follow instructions, guys. I really did, but I'm very, very bad at doing what I'm told. Prior to using a kit like this, I would have probably created areas of in focus or out of focus. But as I worked around the background, I started to notice that there were different layers to the focus in the image. This was unexpected, and I found myself really challenged trying to recreate the levels of focus I could see in the Grizaye image. Now, this is something I haven't really had any experience with before, and something I wouldn't see with the basic line drawing that I usually work from. So I really did learn to see a whole new detail by working with this kit. Moving on to the flowers, and I did struggle quite a bit to deepen the yellows with the colours that I had on hand. So I built up the layers very, very slowly so I could make changes as I went. The different values on these light flowers was it was a little difficult to see in the greys, but it really did highlight to me how subtle those values really were. Now, I've probably always been a little bit more heavy-handed when drawing flowers. The subtlety of the changes in value was something that I really hadn't worked on before, and I've got to say I was really happy with the end result of this experiment. But in many ways, I came at it with a lot of ingrained habits that probably changed the way I use this kit. So I brought in some help. After a quick rundown of some colour pencil techniques, I handed the reins over to my 10-year-old daughter, who sat with me at the desk as she tried the red rose in the kit.
This is a very steady procedure.
It is, that's alright. And don't worry about making mistakes. Any mistake you make is going to be fixable, so don't stress too much about it.
No, I'm just really glad that it has the reference.
It helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it shows you the best places to put the colour. Do Grizaye line work is probably still my best thing, but this is definitely a good way to help people start colouring. I do gotta say, this is a really, really fun thing.
Oh yeah, what's making it fun?
The thing that it's like learning.
Yeah.
It makes it, you know those art classes that you have to do in school?
Yeah.
And then how it's more like they're explaining it. This one kind of lets you do free-handed.
You like learning by doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of just them talking and then you doing a little bit and having to worry about a grade that you get on it.
Oh, well, there's no grades in art.
Yeah.
Stuff that. Yeah, what's making it hard?
You can't really see, like, if you go to, like, the darker things, it might be, like, harder to recognize if they're, like, this sort of shade or this one.
Yeah, okay. You know what? It doesn't matter. Okay? Just go with it. If we make any mistakes, when you get all of this covered up, you'll be able to look at it and go, I need to add a little bit more dark to that, or a little bit more light to that. But yeah, don't stress about it. There's you really can't go too far wrong, trust me.
I've been here for 30 minutes.
Okay, I'm sensing a lack of enthusiasm. How do you feel about this now?
I don't hate it.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I don't love it.
You know what? That happens to me in every single drawing.
Really?
Every time. You know what the secret is?
What?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. Just keep going. See what happens. In the back. You haven't seen it for a while. Okay. Alright, what do you think? You're coming in, you haven't seen it for a while.
Holy crap.
Do you like it a bit more now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you get your nose out of the game a bit, doesn't it?
It looks so good.
How do you think you went?
Really well.
Alright, did you have fun?
Yeah.
Because that's the main thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think of having that pattern down? Did that help you or?
It definitely helped me.
Yeah?
Because I didn't have to do an extra step in, like, drawing it. And
Yeah.
It's just a really easy colouring practice.
Yeah. Okay. All good. Would you recommend something like this for somebody who hasn't used colour pencil before?
Definitely.
Yeah? Why is that?
Because that was my first time ever using, like, coloured pencils professionally.
Yeah.
And that turned out that well.
Yeah, you're pretty happy with it, eh?
Yeah.
What I might do is I'll give you these pencils and I'll send you up to your room with them. You can finish this in your own time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, you had fun?
Yep.
Okay. Good on you, kiddo. Well done. That's a terrible high five. Give me another one. There you go. Thanks, Soph. Okay, so here's my overall thoughts. Now, my first concern was that I was worried that the pencil wouldn't cover over that grey base. And both the nice creamy Prismacolor pencils and the more translucent Polychromos cover pencils have covered that base beautifully. I really love the way that looks, and at the end of colouring the piece, there really is no evidence of the Grizaye base. Beautiful. Perfect. My second concern was that this was going to be a colour by numbers kind of project. And this was absolutely not true. Even given the guidance to work from dark to light, I still had to make a lot of decisions about colour mixing and identifying those values for myself as I went. And honestly, I did find this to be pretty challenging. 3, I discovered that I really love this Stonehenge paper. The pencils, especially the Polychromos, blended on it beautifully like butter. And I might have to source some more of this paper for some of my own work. 4, Look, honestly, I did learn to see something new that I hadn't seen in a reference image before. That difference in the tonal values and the difference in the level of focus of the image was something that I hadn't noticed before, and that is a knowledge that I will definitely take forward into my work going forward. I have seen something new and learned something new, so I am very grateful for that. Next, both myself, a fairly experienced artist, and my daughter, an absolute and complete beginner, was able to get a result that we could be proud of. And since completing this piece, my daughter has inherited my Prismacolors and has gone forth to creating her own artworks on a daily basis, which is something that I'm actually really ridiculously proud of, and I'm so glad that she had a chance to do this little bit of practice. While I do think that the colours that we were given were a little bit limited and a little bit challenging perhaps for a beginner to mix, I still see that it would be really fun, and maybe I'm being a little picky in that regard. Finally, this was fun. With the roadmap all laid out and the colours chosen, all I had to do was sit back and colour the image. And I found that really relaxing and fun. I really enjoyed this. So if you're looking for a very low pressure pre-prepared project to help you practice your colour pencil skills, then this just might be a fun kit for you. This rose kit was only about $15 US, which, considering that the Stonehenge paper itself is like pretty high-end top-notch stuff, I think this is a pretty good deal. If you are interested, I do have an affiliate link down in the description, but for now, I do hope you've enjoyed this. I'd like to give a quick thanks to Colour Pencil Magazine for giving me the opportunity to try this out. I really did have fun. Next time I will be painting in acrylics. Trying a new medium has been extremely challenging, so I hope you'll subscribe and join me for that. But for now, I'll see you guys again soon. And bye guys.